even kill hundreds of people to save their own child.
Yeah.
So
against their better judgment, out of love of the one child. And
I mean, I have an issue with this.
Well, in a way, I can get it because it's sympathy, and it's the love, the parents' love for a child, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's used again and again and again in human storytelling throughout human history.
Well, yes,
but the willingness to create this massive act of terror, killing hundreds of people, thousands maybe.
Here's the deal. So we've got this philosophical theme that they were apparently trying to reintroduce and re-examine and utterly failed, that goes on in The Wrath of Khan, and in fact throughout I would say all of the original series movies, which is, does the good of the many outweigh the good of the few or the one? So it's this question of utilitarianism, which again we try to bring up in this. However, does the good of saving your child justify killing hundreds of thousands of people when clearly the father knew that this guy was a bad guy?
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing. And I mean, you know, here we just leave that question, like, not only hang, but lie dead on the floor.
Another thing that really bugged me, and this is going off and going completely off track of what you're saying, and that what you said was
I'll just eat
great.
some Raisin Bran when you talk, dear.
Okay, well that Raisin Bran's mush now. The scene where after the terrorist attack happens, which, oh man, it's so topical to today. Well done, J.J. Abrams.
James Bond. We saw that.
Yeah,
in the middle of London.
We've been seeing it for the last 10 years. It's a thing. The fact that after the terrorist attack happens, Starfleet regulation protocol has this distinctly in its regulations that if there is an attack, it doesn't describe what kind of attack, but just an attack, all of the captains and second-in-commands are supposed to gather in this one high-rise office suite with glass, completely unsecured, and they're supposed to talk about things.
6 of the Starfleet captains, because
there are only like 7 or 8 ships around Earth.
And they don't have anybody piped in virtually, which we know they're easily able to do. So what? There's a whole 6, maybe 7 Starfleet captains?
So the thing that you do in case of a crisis situation is take all of the most important people and put them all in the same room, in an unsecured room with no security.
Or bulletproof glass.
Apparently. And nobody to swoop in and help if something goes wrong, imagine that.
Luckily, even though the glass was not bulletproof or laser-proof as it may be, all of the pillars that Kirk was able to hide behind with his tiny gun were bulletproof.
Yeah.
So I found that to be convenient.
Well, yeah, and there was a lot of shooting in that scene. Nobody had cover in the office. There was no cover whatsoever.
Oh, no, the pillars that Kirk, he was just the only one smart enough to realize.
Oh, I have to get behind something when somebody's shooting at me. Brilliant. So we make it sound like it's an awful film. It's not.
It's just not Star Trek.
It's a fireworks show.
It's a shoot 'em up action adventure where there's a lot of people running around in tight situations. There's always a countdown clock going on. It has a clever plot twist where, if you've seen The Wrath of Khan, you'll really appreciate the last, well, I wouldn't say the very last, but the third of the movie that's almost at the ending.
Yeah, the third act.
Which is very, very well done. But, again, what we want to see, J.J. Abrams, is...
we know he's watching.
You never know. We'll tag him. We'll hashtag him.
We'll hashtag him, and he has to watch.
What we want to see is you, number one, let's use some of the interesting other races, other cultures.
Where are the aliens? Where are the aliens? You give us all these tacked-on aliens, which you're inventing, and you don't need to because there's already...
The girl version of E.T. with the gold head, she doesn't count.
The android that you put on the bridge,
shame on you, J.J. Abrams. Shame on you.
It better not be. It looks an awful lot like an android, and it better not. be.
So, yeah, we want to see you
'Cause
use
that
some of
was
that
awful.
cleverly, and maybe we're getting set up for that in this 5-year mission that we're going to go on.
Yeah.
But second of all, you know, kudos. We get why you want to use some of the great bad guys, especially Khan from the original series. Everybody loves Khan, you know? But use him in a way that's new, you know? Well, it was clever the way that you replayed the ending of Wrath of Khan. On the other hand, let's see you do something new with him if you're going to reintroduce these genetically altered super beings.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, seriously, we've seen the same movie twice in a row.
And where's the exploration? Where's the discovery? And where's the complex problem? All of these problems that the crew has faced in the first 2 films is just hit it with something huge.
Yeah, like if you can blow it up fast enough, will be safe.
That's the solution.
And that is not Star Trek.
No.
Star Trek is not just blow it up as fast as you can and then get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
It's the fact that there is always another way because you're trying to protect that which space has to offer, even though it's hostile.
Yeah.
You know? Star Trek is not a story of interplanetary war.
That's Star Wars.
That's Star Wars. We like those movies too. But you know what? Nary the twain shall meet. Just because they're both in space and they both have the word star in the title doesn't mean it's the same thing. Let's talk about Star Wars and Star Trek.
Well, the most worrisome thing that I've seen is that he was... I saw an interview with him, and he was talking about Star Trek, Star Wars, and he just kind of, like, when he was asked how do you differentiate the two, he didn't really have an answer. And that's because J.J. Abrams, we love J.J. Abrams' stuff. We have every season of Fringe.
I mean, Fringe, Alias. He's clever.
Yeah.
We went to this movie again because number one, we're Star Trek fans, and number two, we know J.J. Abrams is clever enough to come up with something really good. And really, he's just phoning this in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want either J.J. Abrams to up his game, or I want Joss Whedon to take this over.
Well, if Joss Whedon could take over every sci-fi franchise, and I think I'd probably be happy with that.
Yeah, I would too.
But
and just, one additional note, can we stop having the glare of the future right in my face?
It's so bright! It's too bright! Future's too bright!
Embarrassing.
Too many lights!
Embarrassing.
Well, there's a quarter of the lens flares in this one that there were in the first one.
But they were all bigger, just to make up for it.
Yeah. So that's our review of Star Trek Into Darkness.
So go see it, go into darkness, come back out. There are some great moments in it. Just please stop your ears whenever Uhura is on the camera, and you will thank us for that.
And it's not Star Trek. Go in with the idea that it's not Star Trek. It's utilizing the names and the characters.
If you want Star Trek,
they've made a great series of films.
And watch it on the classic VHS.
Yeah.
That's the way that.
Because that's how the hardcore do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they made 6 great films.
Yeah, so grab yourself some Raisin Bran.
Well, 6.
And watch The Wrath of Khan.
4 great films.
That's what we're gonna do.